more. Jobber Nation, welcome to an exclusive JTP Lounge. As always, I'm Janelle from HR here with Sir Wilkins and MrBlacc, and we have a very, 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 very special guest with us tonight. But before we get into it, let everybody know we will be at Legends for AEW Revolution this Sunday. It's March. Who the fuck? Where's the time go? Like, so make sure the RSVP get there early because it's one of the turnouts that everybody ends up coming to. So don't be late. And then once again, the boys will be at Legends for WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2. While I will be in the great state of Texas representing the brand, of course, as always. Wait, Sir Wilkins, did you get your stuff together? Or are we still working on that?
I might just fly in for Wallet Mania and fly out on Saturday.
I'm asleep. Okay. Well,
I might be on some thought shit. Like, yo, I'm gonna fly in.
Nah, at least stay till Friday so you can come to the Hall of Fame with me.
Nah, I definitely want to come to the Hall of Fame, but that shit might be sold out by then.
It's not. I'm waiting till the resale drop.
Oh, okay.
Because it's SmackDown and the Hall of Fame. So
I still got a flight credit I gotta use, so maybe I might use it on that.
Go ahead. You might as well.
Hold on. I know I'm talking out of turn because I ain't been introduced yet, but it's fine. I listen to Blank Check podcast. People just be talking and then they introduce them later. Is Wale Mania like that? Like everybody be talking about? Oh, I saw the face.
Before we dig in, let's introduce our guest the right way.
We're not rude. Sorry,
y'all. Hold on. Let's introduce our guest the right way.
I'll just jump on the track. You know what I'm saying? I'm just getting these instrumentals, man.
Any guest that comes on actually introduce themselves. So he actually did the right thing. It was like, excuse me.
So, no, but I want to give him a nice little formal thing. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the MF Doom / the Tech 9 of the Black, the independent wrestling game, the Mr. I'm too sexy for your bitch and too sexy for your mama. Suge D is in the building. One of the longest, most illustrious careers in the
illustrious. He's using TI words right now. Illustrious.
Suge, wait. How long you been wrestling? How long you been wrestling for?
Entirely too long. Entirely too long for the amount of money that I got. Entirely too long. Like I'm good, but I could be better. I'm good. These bills get paid, but I could be much better. You know what I'm saying? Like when you got people you was riding with, rolling around in luxury cars and having things with an A. You be like, man, I'm not a hater, but I wish I could have it like that. That's all I'm saying.
Makes sense.
I gotta go hunt for my food.
But yes, we have the fabulous Suge D with us this evening. We're gonna get into wrestling, but no, talking about Wale Media. So yeah, it is.
Is it like that?
It is honestly like, think of like Black Elite coming in. Think about like the NAACP awards mixed in with the Grammy after party.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like late night,
Is that real?
Okay. Nah, I just saw your faces when I asked y'all, was it like that? Y'all, everybody was like,
yeah.
like everybody had them faces like there's stories that they just can't, they ain't never gonna make air. And all y'all look like y'all had one. So I was like, all right, you know what? All right.
Oh man, Wale Mania. All I gotta say is this: you have to go. Like, they will treat you like a superstar you are, bro. I'm telling you.
Should I pay for a ticket, or what's the deal? What's going on?
Yeah, the general admission.
That was before COVID, so I don't know. Well, before COVID, you could just walk in.
No. Let me know. Let him not know. No, Suge, don't listen to that one. I know for me,
you can just walk in.
No,
sir.
Sir, when it's
you doing the whole it's Suge D thing, that only go. It depends. Like I don't have blanket. Look, and Wilkins, something I wanted to tell you too. That whole I'm too sexy, this or whatever. That's my tag partner, Darius Lockhart. We're gonna put that on Darius Lockhart. Listen, I always joke with Darius about this. Darius is the fine friend. Okay, like Darius walk up in the room, they like, oh damn, like he get that kind of reaction. It'd be like, damn, he fine. I want to know what his name is. I'm the personality friend. Nobody's gonna say, "Damn, they fine." Damn,
like, damn, you funny.
Yeah, yes, I gotta laugh you into, you know, it's like, you know what? I wasn't really checking for him like that, but then I started talking to him.
That's good though. That's good. Those are the good
and never get you hear that. Oh my gosh, you so smart.
Sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, he's just so, you know, once I started talking to him, I don't know, I might have changed my mind about him, girl. Like,
like he different. He different.
Yes, we know.
He different from the others.
Yeah, we know. Trust me, we know.
It's nothing wrong. It's a good balance, you know.
Yeah. I just know my strengths and my weaknesses. So when people start talking all that, I just be like, hold on.
Which is good to know your strengths and your weaknesses, but it still is a good thing though. But no, you do need to take. It just so happened that when it was here, when Mania was here in New York, because that was that probably that was the last Wale.
That was the last one. That was the last one.
So like this one coming up, like everybody's gonna go in because it's like
everybody
the first
trying to get
one.
loose.
Yeah, because they were supposed to do one in Tampa, but it was so much red tape.
Right.
The first time, like Florida was open, but in terms of like going to like renting out a space and doing this and doing that, it was a lot for them to go through. So they decided not to do it. But this year it's at the House of Blues in downtown Dallas. So they are locked and loaded with.
Where I be seeing these tweets about Wale Mania, you know, they be people trying to get their outfits together, all this other stuff. Like
I already got mine. I already know what I'm wearing.
So Suge, it's basically like she said NWA, but it's like Black wrestling fans, hip hop loving wrestling fans.
I love it.
Coming together.
The energy is different, dogs. The energy is different. And you know who got a pass with the Black community when you see certain people of the pop color people in there. Not all of them is invited. Not all of them. Not all of them, son. He's good with the Blacks, man. Samoa Joe, he's good with the Blacks.
Listen, when Joe was out here spitting Jay-Z lyrics on stage, I said,
sure.
Yeah.
I've always loved him, but this made me love him
in the same space, like you're rubbing elbows with a side WWE talent right next to that person and say up and coming height, right in front of you, somebody from the indies that's super hot, and y'all all smoking weed.
Nah, he. But the thing about it, that was the perfect description.
I'm about to say, please don't say no name.
No, we not. But it literally like was like we walked into some shit and was just like we in this shit. Like we can't do it.
Picture it like this. Picture it like this.
I like all this together. Like when AJ moved, I knew it was serious when AJ moved for the culture.
Moved the show.
He was like, he said, Wale Mania coming on what? When? Like, nah, we're gonna push that tomorrow.
Nah, he did the right thing because it's like this. Let's talk music. You're sitting next to MF Doom.
Okay.
God bless him. God rest his soul.
Absolutely.
Right next to you is T.I. And then in front of you is Rihanna. That's and I put that in the wrestling aspect.
Yeah.
You got signed people, independent superstars, and then us.
Well, Wale got a lot of ties all over the place with a lot. That's one thing I've always enjoyed about him. Aside from him just being like awesome rapper, like I love his stuff. He's got his hands in a lot of different things, and he's cool with a lot of different people. Plus, he's unabashed about the fact that he loves wrestling. Like I love when people love wrestling with their whole chest. You know what I'm saying? So so I think it's great. I know it's been going on for a while. It's just I ain't know the fever behind it.
It's hot. It's hot, and like this one is gonna be hot because it's the first one since the pandemic. So like everybody is like when you was like people getting their outfit. Listen, I gotta make my truck line order because I know what shorts I'm wearing. I know what I'm doing. So y'all gotta figure it out.
Your cheeks are gonna be hanging out. But okay.
It won't be hanging out. It'll be slightly,
here we go.
Respectable.
Wow. I gotta do you like the principal back in high school. I gotta get the dollar. We got chest above the knee. We gotta be like, hold on.
It will definitely be above the knee. I will admit to that.
I think we've been talking more about should talk about more about you.
More about our guests.
But first things first, man, we appreciate you having you on. And you have become a real icon within the community, the independent scene, a real the ill uncle, the cool uncle that's like, nigga, what are you doing? This is what you gotta do.
This is what you should be doing.
I don't want to see. I don't want to see people not get what they're supposed to have when they're working hard. That's my biggest, you know, like as a society, they'll just have you work hard to work hard. And it's like, you know, either you'll just work hard for no reason or you'll work hard to make somebody else have things. I know everybody, you know, unlike what LLC Twitter will tell you, everybody can't be the boss at everything with their own business. It is what it is.
LLC Twitter. I just
LLC Twitter get on my nerves, dude. Like that's a whole nother story though. But
you're not grinding because how that you have a trucking business. Boy, I don't like driving. Like
they make an LLC out of anything, man. Like, okay, it's like LLC Twitter have a lot to say until tax time comes. Then like half them accounts disappear. Like it turned into the snap. Like as soon as tax time comes, it's all gone. But
tax time be a motherfucker.
All right, right.
But
everybody.
Let's ask the typical question. The typical questions out the way. You know, we gotta ask people who don't know who you are.
The basic stuff.
The basic shit. We all know you've been wrestling for like, what is it, 20 years now?
Oh,
something like that?
I won't confirm or deny. I'll just say it's been a while.
We're estimating that.
So how did you get into it, and why did you get into the sport?
Yes, let's start with the basics. Yeah.
Okay, let me run this through because I get what you're saying. These are like the basic podcast questions. Because the sooner I can get through these, the sooner we can get to the stuff that's not the basic podcast questions.
Yeah.
What's called military family, bunch of VHS tapes, because the Armed Forces Network. So like there was always a bunch of pay-per-views on those particular tapes. The first wrestling show I ever saw was WrestleMania 5. I could probably run back spot for spot everything that happened in Macho Man versus Hulk Hogan. You know, that was the one for me when it was all said and done. Given recent events, now that I'm older, I guess Macho Man really should have won that match, huh? But okay.
Thank you.
But it is what it is. Macho Man had black people hair too, man. You saw how like when he would have the thing, it would mash in.
And
like he had to like
his shit was shiny.
Like we would have, he would wear the headband too tight. It would have the press around it and everything. Macho had tendencies, dude. Yeah, tendencies. It is what it is.
Like he was a different spirit.
Right. Like he was a bunch of things mixed into one. That's the best thing to say.
Oh my god, I'm weak.
Oh
my god.
Military family, watched my share of shows like that. I didn't know if I would ever actually wrestle, but I knew I would always have some part in it. I knew that's just absolutely what I wanted to do. I started getting older, kept telling mom, hey, I want to wrestle. Her way of kind of throwing me off was kind of being like, well, finish college first, and then you can go into that and whatnot. And that's cool and everything, but I think she was trying to throw me off. Like I think she was thinking by the time I finished college, I wouldn't have no concern or want to do that. I saw a commercial for a wrestling school where I was staying in Augusta, Georgia, and the commercial only ran for like 3 weeks because WWF Jack was only on that station for 3 weeks. I'm like deep. Like my mentor, Murder One, calls me Computron 3000 because I like histories. I like numbers. I like statistics. I like to know everything about everything that's going on with wrestling. So he would be that type to be like, I need you to name all the Intercontinental Champions in 1988. If I didn't know it off the top of my head, I could find it out for you. That's just how it was. That said, I would watch like the D-list WWE show. Those were my, like Jack was like D-list WWE. That's like what S.A. Rios was squashing people. Like that don't happen. You didn't even know S.A. Rios could run a squash match until like that's the stuff I was into. Like you ain't know such and such had a finisher, but I do because I watched that. And I remember wanting to watch Jack because they had like S.A. Rios versus Loki, and everybody kept talking about it on the message boards. So I was like, oh yeah, they gave him time. That thing was nice.
My nigga was on the message boards. Oh, you really were a wrestling fan.
Wow, son.
My nigga was on the message
DVR message boards back in the day, all that stuff. Yeah, I was into all that, dude. So saw that commercial ran, went to that wrestling school. I had to make a choice between finishing up wrestling at high school, like actual wrestling at high school, or professional wrestling. Of course, I was going to do professional wrestling. Caught a lot of shit behind that for making that choice, but I guess everything worked out in the end. I guess the biggest thing about that was I appreciate the original place I was at, but it didn't really teach me a lot about the business savvy of it, locker room ethics, all that other stuff like that. So I kind of floated around for a while, but I credit Dr. David Rains, Murder One, and Jeremy Vane as the people that quote unquote trained me, because for a very, 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 very long time, I was floating around and people were telling me, like, either it was like I was in shindies and people were telling me like I was the best of the shindies, which don't mean shit, or when I was trying to go to places that were worth a fuck, it was turning into situations where it was like, well, you suck. And the problem with when you tell somebody they suck is, as much as you probably hate to hear this, it probably helps if you give them detail, because I don't know what I suck at. I just know you weren't feeling it. David Rains was the first person to ever tell me, yo, you suck, but this is why. And he would lay it out. Like, we would watch the show. So then I started sucking a little bit less, and my booking started getting better. And then Murder kind of tuned me up a little bit, and the same thing with Jeremy Vane. And then before you know it, my stuff started popping off. And then now my real career started, because now, okay, I got a package. I got some things I can do. I can make some moves now. That's why with y'all, with the whole Uncle Suge thing, I try to be on top of that with a lot of the younger guys, because you got older guys that are still on ego trips about their spots. You got cats that because they put a lot of time in, they think that means they think that because, okay, I got 20 years in the business. Okay, you got 20 years in the business, but what were you doing with your 20 years?
With your body of work.
Right. The example that I always give is Leo Rush. Leo Rush, I think, is 6 years in the business, but look at everything Leo Rush has done in 6 years. So if Leo want to kick me some advice, I'm going to listen, because there's been places he's been that I ain't been into. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those situations where, like, aside from just time, you got to look at quality of that time spent. And I'm big on that. So I look at a lot of these kids now, and a lot of them don't have somebody to be like, hey, why don't you think about it like this? Hey, you're working real hard, but why aren't you trying it like this or this, that, and the third? And I just don't want them to waste time the way I wasted time. Because I think about, what if I could have got a rebate of like 6 or 7 years? What could I have done with that time? And I'll never know. So it's like I'm always playing catch up. Yeah.
So with your experience in the game, what are some things that you've seen completely take a 180 from when you started?
Great question, Janelle. Great question.
So
outside of us having opportunities.
Sure. I always joke around about the fact that I think I've been around long enough to see stuff that was old become new, become old, become new again. And then people are trying to pass it off like it's brand new. And I'm like, nah, man, we was doing that in 03, player. Like a nice try. We was doing that in 03. But you know, we can run with that. I think one of the biggest things that's really taken off to me, everybody had no idea what the internet was going to become, especially around that time. Like back then, you could jump on the internet and say whatever, and nobody cared, because nobody was really hawking the internet like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's what you said in front of somebody's face or what was on DVD or VHS. Now you can get on here and have a bad day on Twitter and completely just ruin all traction. Like you're done. You're done. Like, just pack it up. So I'm looking at the power of the internet to be able to make or break careers. I'm looking at the fact that, like, you know, aside from black wrestling, you got to look at how wrestling looked as a whole. They had guys portraying gay characters for like the longest time.
Rico and Chuck.
Of what gay looked like. So it was
Rico
always,
and Chuck.
Right. It was always a feminine. And I won't lie, not that some of that stuff wasn't funny or some of that stuff wasn't cool to watch at the time, but this is where we really have to get into that whole thing about it is a different time. They want to be able to define what they're doing for themselves the same way we want to define what we're doing for ourselves. So I'm looking at, Black representation, gay representation, trans representation, the fact that we're getting to the point where there's different pronouns now, where we have theys, X's, gays, etc.
Yeah,
and it's just there's more avenues to be able to get stuff done. I think we're kind of getting back to an era too where you could really be on the indies and make like money again if you know what you're doing. God bless his soul, Jimmy Rave used to talk about how the indies used to work back in the day, and like around the era where WWE pretty much swallowed up everybody, the indies was popping, man. He was making good money at ROH back then, and he wasn't on like a contract per se. Like,
you mean with ROH with like Adam Cole, Seth Rollins? Okay.
Well, Tyler Black back then.
Oh, sorry, Tyler Black. Yeah. Why happened to that guy anyway?
I think Jimmy's prime era was a little bit before that. So you got to look at who Jimmy was in there with. That's why, like, I always show love to Jimmy, because Jimmy was out there. There were 2 people out of Georgia three people out of Georgia that were really getting it done for the indies at the time. And that was AJ Styles, that was Jimmy Rave, and that was Sal Rinauro. Those were the 3 that you talked about. There weren't a lot that came out of Georgia around that time really making the moves around the way. Jimmy was hanging with Hero, Jacobs, Styles, Eric Cannon when stuff was really, 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 really popping. Not that he don't have it like that now, but when stuff was really popping like that. Claudio, like, you name him, he was hanging with him, and he was like having, he wasn't getting carried. He was doing his part of what was going on too. Nana back when it was the Embassy days, Brian Kendrick, all that good stuff like that. So like, I'm just looking at that particular era, and they was making bank, man. They was making good money. The ECW guys were traveling around, popping houses and whatnot. And we're back to an era where we can really make some money, but you got to know how to get after it.
So, I like money talk.
Okay, cloth talk.
But before, a fan did ask, Suge, how did you come up with your name?
My name.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm riding in the car with Murder One. We just started doing.
It's a wild ass name, Murder One. I love it. It's a wild ass name, Murder One.
You said it so casually. Yeah, no, I ride around with Murder One. Oh,
so,
okay.
Okay. You want me to take it deeper than that?
Yes.
So deeper than crack.
Okay. So he's been known as Blacklist Uno, but that's Murder One to me. And the thing is, before he was Murder One, his name was Homicide, and he was the original Homicide. But Homicide, the one we know and love, and yes, there was an animosity thing there for a bit, but that got squashed. But that's the prime example in professional wrestling of it don't matter who do it first, it matters of who got it popping. And
it's like Jay-Z bar. You made it a hot line.
I made it a hot song. Like that's what it is. Like I hate that sometimes, and a lot of work going into stuff. But if you popping, you popping, and it just is what it is.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, Murder One, creative genius, one of my favorite people. I laugh anytime I think of weed because I don't smoke personally. But Murder, if he ever tell you that he got to hit the blunt right quick, 15 minutes, he about to come back with the best idea you've ever heard in the history. Like, he does that all the time. Like, we'll be texting or talking about something, and it's just like, let me hit the blunt right quick. All right, I got 3 months of the territory book right now. Okay, so this is what we got. And he got it all laid. But we were riding, and this was around the time that he suggested for me to do a basketball gimmick because I was in college. I couldn't afford. I ain't had no money for haircuts, so I was just letting my stuff. And he was like, man, he said, you need to just go ahead and get you some like Chuck Taylors, you know what I'm saying? Get you like a little jersey or whatever it is. You can have it popping, man. And at the time, this is around the time when I was wearing kick pads with the singlet and the Japanese characters on them and whatnot. I was thinking I was gonna be the next coming of blackness in the X Division any moment. You know what I'm saying? Bob Ryder gonna call my phone, even though he don't know my number. And I'm over there like, man, that's gonna mess up my credibility within the wrestling community and all this other stuff. I can't be running around dribbling no basketball. And then I thought about it and I was like, well, they don't know what the hell my name is in the wrestling community. So screw it. Let me just go ahead and put it on. So my original name was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, right?
I'm done.
I know. It's awesome, but it's corny. It's corny, but it's awesome, but it's awesome, but it's corny.
It's got one of those like, oh shoot, all right, I can see it.
So then the movie Semi-Pro came out. And,
great movie, by the way.
You know
great movie.
You know what it's.
I see where you're going.
And I'm a big Andre 3000 fan anyway. I think that's the greatest rapper alive, next to Rakim. And like, dude, he was going through the list of nicknames, and you know that Sugar Dunkerton came up, and I was like, oh, that's kind of nice. That's kind of nice. Let me put that in the back pocket. So what really clinched it was when I got my shot at Chikara, because Quackenbush heard the name and he liked the gimmick, this, that, and the third. So he wanted to bring it in and see if it got over. He looked at the name and he was like, well, you know, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you know, I think people are either like, oh, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, or they're like, oh, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I think more, you know, got a little something. So here were the two choices. In the other multiverse, I'm about to give you what my other multiverse name was.
Oh.
And Murder One is mad to this day because he was like, damn it, why he ain't picked that name? The options were Sugar Dunkerton and Shawty Roosevelt.
Oh, that last
I didn't know if it was going to be Shawty or Shawdy, but either way, Murder was so amped up about like, man, you know how bad I be wanting to chant Shawty so bad at a show, and he took that away from me. Oh yeah,
I mean, do everyone have that name now?
Nobody has a name Shawty. There's no Shawty related. Man, think about it. The crossover, the T-Pain song had came out with the fuck. I could have been out there. The girls, oh,
what's the name?
What's the name?
Wait. Say it one more time because like how that I want to memorize it. What is it?
Shawty. Like, hold on. You're from up north, aren't you?
Yeah. Shawty.
Okay, so it's different. So
we say shorty.
Love to talk about how we take New York words and improve them. Like we leave them in the oven a little while longer. So y'all had shorty for a minute, right?
Yeah,
and y'all running with that. But y'all will pick up a word and then drop it like it ain't nothing. Y'all move on to new things, right?
We do.
So again, y'all dropped the word, y'all left it, so we pulled up quick to retrieve it. And then we smoothed that thing out. You know what I'm saying? And now, you know, then you got Shawty.
Like when Young Jock, when Buy You a Drink came out, and Young Jock was like, when they were saying Shawty, so that's where that come from.
So your name was gonna be Frederick Shawty? What?
It was gonna be Shawty Roosevelt.
Shawty Roosevelt.
Don't that sound like an ABA player name though?
It does.
I don't know how far you would have went with that though. Like
Shawty Roosevelt
made it work.
Shawty Roosevelt.
I would have made it work. Nah, because I'm putting on for the state then. If that's the case, I know people would have been messing the name up though. They would have been jacking that name up. But things worked out how they worked out, and then we go from Sugar Dunkerton to Sugar D, and then Suge D, because that was actually a suggestion from a Chicago promoter. Because he was like, you know, Suge, like Suge Knight, that sounds hard. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be like, okay, we work with that. And then I guess the natural order of things would be, because my name keeps shortening every few years. So we go from Sugar Dunkerton to Sugar D to Suge D. Probably end up going to all caps Suge, like the Japanese characters. And then eventually, I guess my final form will be like MF Suge or something.
So, how you come up with the name Pineapple Pete?
That wasn't my idea, bro.
And I was gonna say, I know you knew that was coming.
Jericho went off the reservation, but he can do that. So check this out. We go to the tapings at like the emergency tapings at AEW in Atlanta, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always a type. I want to wear colorful stuff. I want to stand out a little bit. I don't want to look like the average thing. It's like if you won't wear it, I'll rock it just to say I rocked it because you can't do it. But the thing I gotta remember, especially about wrestling, is if I wear something crazy, I gotta be able to back it up because you don't want to be the sorry dude in the ring who had like a memorable outfit on top of that too, because then you really gonna get trashed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I bought 2 button-up shirts with me for while I was in the crowd, and one of them had lemons, and the other one had pineapples, and it just so happened to match my gear. So when we get there and they tell me about my match, I just looked at what I had, and the pineapples matched my outfit better. It easily could have been a lemon outfit that same day, but I chose the pineapples.
Another multi-universe situation.
Right. Chris Jericho just happened to be on commentary because Excalibur couldn't make it because of COVID protocol and all that other stuff like that. And he saw the shirt on a close-up, and he went off. Like, he went in. It was just Pineapple Pete. And I remember when they finished, because you can't hear commentary, obviously, when you ringside. I just remember going back there, and everybody just kept saying, like, Pineapple Pete. Like, oh, what's going on, Pineapple Pete? And then somebody pulled me aside, and they were like, yo, when these tapings hit, you're going to be like the most over thing on the show. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, did I miss something? And then Jericho being Jericho, y'all think the way he be acting on camera is like a joke. Like, no, he's like that. Like, he came over there. He's like, hey, man, what's going on? You know, he's got the voice and everything. Like, hey, man, like, what's happening? He's like, Pineapple Pete. And I'm like, huh?
Who that?
He tells me the whole deal. He's like, hey, man, you know the next thing that's got to happen? He's like, man, you got to have that singles match, man. And I'm like, right. Okay. like, and then lo and behold, we have a singles match. But yeah, that's totally Jericho. That's totally all on Jericho.
So going on there and, you having your moment, did you see a rise in your stock after?
So 2 levels. Like we have to do it on 2 levels. Attention wise, absolutely. What I was able to charge, sure, as far as it goes on that. So, like I said, it was a hell of an experience because I've never been that close before. It's the Joe Budden conversation where they went on Spotify.
Shoot.
And it's like, we did the research. Okay. We did the research. Like, I've never been that close. So that 6 months was very enlightening about what happens in big wrestling, like, and how big wrestling, like, quote unquote, big wrestling works. Financially, all that other stuff like that, yeah, it's fine. And I use that to be able to open a few more doors when it was time to come back to the indies. But I always knew in the back of my mind, because I won't name names, but I definitely see situations like that where it's like people are getting multiple shots, but they're not making sure that they keep their name ringing out just in case it don't work out over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're content with, oh man, if they call me up and I do my 5 minutes on Dark or I do my 6-man, which is cool, do you. But at the same time, what if the contract don't come?
Right, that's not enough.
Right. What if you don't get your tier 0? What if they decide to go in another direction? Hell, AEW is swamped right now with people who are signed.
Wait, say that. Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need you to say that again and a little louder.
Oh, so you mean how everybody said, like, every time somebody leave, they say they need to go to AEW. Everybody can't go to AEW, baby. Everybody can't go. It don't work like that.
You're right.
And I think, of course, as fans, you just want to see different people in different places.
Sure.
Like for instance, yesterday, if someone would have told me 10 years ago, first of all, AJ Styles in WWE, I'd have been like, never. I'm like, no.
Right.
So that was already checked off when he did the Rumble debut. I said, oh shit, it's real.
Facts.
The fact that right now we're in 2022 and we're getting AJ Styles versus Edge, doesn't even matter that they're not in their prime. None of that shit matters. Just the fact that the two of these people from really 2 different sides of wrestling, like how they grew up in the business, are able to clash with each other now on the biggest stage. Like, as a fan, you can't
at WrestleMania.
more than that. Like, those are the moments I think as fans, and whether you're a wrestler yourself, you're a fan. That's what you want to see. You want to see those moments where you're like, oh, this is real.
Oh, I'm gonna double back on Edge. I know you're saying that he's not in his prime. Wrestling is weird like that because since we don't have an off season, do you see what being able to sit the fuck down do for people sometimes?
Oh, sitting down for 10 years.
Edge hits his time. Like Edge spends a lot of time just cutting promos, and then his matches feel like an event. But the thing is, he's also well rested when it's time to have those matches. So the matches bang every time they get in there. You know what I'm saying? So I expect nothing less. I've been loving this stuff that he's been doing since he came back.
But that's why Brock looks so great, because Brock,
right, he's an event, man. Like when Brock show up,
or Randy is very particular. If you really look at the last maybe like 2-3 years,
sure,
when he re-signed his contract, you can see he's very particular about the things he do.
Yeah,
and even now him being in a tag team, it gets him, it gets the pressure and stuff. He can rest a little more. He can enjoy, what they're doing on TV more. Like, you can see it.
Well, I think right now Randy's in his art, which I'm gonna double back to in just a second with the AEW question. Randy's in his artist phase right now, so it's like they've done everything that you could possibly do with him. They done gave him 5 million world titles, all this stuff, main event at WrestleMania, etc., etc. So, like, if you're gonna keep me on the job, what's fun? Like, can I do something that's fun? Like, you can tell when he's energized about something. Mm-hmm. Like when he was doing the Wyatt family program, which was entirely too short. They could have ran that for a year before that split happened.
Thank you.
But he was amped up.
The mess dealer, though.
And you could tell he was amped up about that. The stuff with him and Riddle, it's entertaining as hell. They work together. Mm-hmm. They work well together. It works. I like it. I think they work well together, and it's just interesting. So if they are gonna split, that'll be interesting because they gave it time to actually work. Mm-hmm. Because I think before they would have just microwaved this and it would have been done in like 3 months. But they've actually given it time. They've had funny segments together. It's been cool. Getting back to the AEW question, since we're talking about artistry, if we're talking about financially and being able to use it as like a business chip, sure. Like it worked out pretty well and everything like that. In terms of artistry and like how I'd like to be remembered, and I know the word was used like my moment. I wouldn't call that my moment. I did a stop through. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a cool deal and everything. But like I feel like I stopped through. I did a job. I did, I guess, a very quote unquote, I did a job. But had a little memorable. It was a little memorable mini run and everything like that. But like would I hold that up against like my run in England, any of them tours? Would I hold that up against me and Alex Shelley at Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment? Would I hold that up against like that long odyssey to like the freelance championship? Nah, man. Like artistry wise, no. I don't think anybody really got to see everything that I was truly capable of. And I don't necessarily put that on them. I don't think I gave in a way of how I was packaged or how I approached it a reason for them to want to go ahead and do that. The pandemic came along. I was up and down at weight. I was always nervous because sometimes it was getting too real that maybe I'm this close, and then other times I had to dial it back because maybe it's not really happening. You got people that you haven't heard from in forever, all of a sudden saying that you can do it. And I just started seeing like a lot of stuff about that. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of stuff about that level that they don't tell you about. Like people forget, if I DM you, I could literally see 4 years ago when I DM'd you, and then now you want to hit as soon as you find out that I got a Jericho match. The timestamp is there, player. I just look at stuff like that, and it's like
the timestamp's there, player.
No, but I'm dead ass. It's like
you're right.
Yeah.
I'm in the mud. I'm making these 13, 14, one time 18-hour car rides. I'm sleeping at rest stops. I'm trying to figure out how to drive 12 hours back, work 8 hours, go to sleep for 4 so I can get up for another turnaround the next day. I'm trying to figure all this out. And it's like, those are the times I really needed somebody to talk to. Those are the times where I could have used the advice, or I could have used somebody to respond, not when it looks like I'm doing okay, or it looks like I'm about to do well. And I just found out how a lot of things work on that level with myself, with other people, with how I want to be perceived. So I had that taste of it. It was cool. A lot of crab legs were bought with Tony Khan money. You know what I'm saying? Which is cool. Appreciate it. We banked some of that.
I'm glad you did what you wanted to do with that.
Right. But now I feel like my expectations are adjusted a little bit now. I look at how Alex Shelley don't really want a contract right now. I look at like how Davey Richards, he has his interests outside of it, but he's also got team ambition, and he's good enough where he can sign anywhere. But it's like, I'm good. Let me do what it is that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I wish more people put the kind of respect on the indies being a viable option again, instead of just let me stop over until somebody sign me. Because I think there's a lot of, we talk about the rap game, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that killed to be signed to a label. They put their one single, and then what happens? I'd rather be the rapper that, okay, I may have never got a label deal, but when my album come out, my people are loyal. And when I come do these shows, it sell out. And that's where I'm at right now. And if the right offer were to come along, cool. If it doesn't come along, I'm not tripping about it, because I used to define it so much that shit used to keep me up at night, man, about like, if you don't ever sign a deal, then what have you really been doing? And, yeah. And I had to come to a conclusion. Okay, I never signed a deal, but what have you been doing? I've been making art. I've been doing shit that I want to do. And
dope shit. You've been all over the world.
Right. And I'm going to continue to do shit that I want to do.
But Suge, let me ask you this, because you said a couple of things, and it's kind of it kind of got to me. How are you staying healthy mentally?
Like, I was just about to ask that. Because mental, dog.
Because you're talking about this up and down of feelings.
Oh,
where one moment you're at a high, people are hitting you up. Next thing you know, people aren't hitting you up, and people aren't responding to your DM. But then next thing you know, they're responding to your DMs.
Sure.
Then you're on this constant grind, and sometimes you're not getting, just like you said,
sure,
hey, what's going on? How are you?
How are you?
Yeah, man. Like there, like the whole, like the UK thing, that was necessity, dude. I wasn't getting anything that I wanted over in the States, so I was willing to go to another country to go after it, and it was one of the best things that I ever did for myself. In terms of like my day to day, after a while, I think the thing that was affecting me the most was I wasn't asking myself, like, I feel like I was trying to put together like characters and promos and matches that, like, okay, this is what it's going to take. In my mind, it was like, this is what it's going to take in order to pop people or to impress tastemakers in wrestling, right? I'd look at my own shit and I'd be like, do I even like this? Am I doing this because that's what they say it takes to get over, or do I even like this? And I know how I am. My likes are very weird in a lot of ways. And it's like, I'm not being true to how I get down. And the crazy part was, the more I started diving into what I like and just doing how I do me, okay, now stuff started opening up. And I feel like England gave me that opportunity to do that. I kind of got to rewrite myself a little bit. And then I just kept on that track and I just kept going. In terms of like my daily life, I love wrestling. I love it to death. It's my jam. It's responsible for a lot of great things and memories that I'll have. But I know when to leave it the fuck alone. That's the best advice I can just give anybody. Everybody loves to champion that mentality of like, wrestling is my life, and yeah, and if the booking comes this, and I'm gonna do that, I would sacrifice everything just to be able to have this moment, the tough enough promo. I'll sacrifice everything.
I love the voice you're using right now.
Right,
yeah, me too.
That's the voice. And like, real talk, that's stupid. Like, you can love something and be passionate about something. And I think in your actions prove that you're willing to sacrifice for it. But at the same time, you still have to be present in order to get whatever it is that you're sacrificing for. And you're not even thinking about the emotional and human cost to get to that, right?
Wow.
So if it means I gotta cut this off and play like Dark Souls for 4 hours, that's what I'm gonna do. If I want to,
whoa, Dark Souls.
Oh, I love video games, dude.
We'll talk about this later.
Yeah, I love any video game that makes me regret constantly why I'm playing it. But then I come back for another one. If it's like that kind of game where it's like hard like that, but it's fun, I love it. Like hold on, let me hit that D wave. but I'll take it back. It's like I got so deep, and I had to realize how deep I got. I got so deep into like the wrestling grind that like I couldn't sustain healthy relationships. Like I barely was seeing my family. Any relationships that I got in romantically, I give my apologies to anybody that was dating me around that time, and I've said my apologies, and everything is straight with those situations. But like, man, I was a motherfucker around that time because like we could have plans, and somebody would say like, "Yo, you booked for this tournament." Plans immediately canceled. Ain't nothing to talk about. If you want to argue, cool. We're gonna argue when I get back. All right, great. I'll let you. Like I was really pulling stuff like that. I was cheating on every girl I had with wrestling. That's just what it was. Like she was the side chick. She was the side chick.
Listen, sometimes they gotta be the side chick, my nigga.
Yeah, but
there also should be a balance. There also should be
because
a time where you say no.
Right. Because then you get to this situation that I'm in now, not to be that guy. I don't think my age is old, so I don't mind it. Like people will try to tell you certain ages are old, but I could tell the people who say that because it's like, okay, you ain't lived enough yet. Because that's the reason why you're saying 30 is old. 30 is actually very fun. That's around the time when you really start. If you do what you're supposed to do, 30 is very fun. But
30s have been mad fun for me. I ain't gonna hold you.
Very fun, very fruitful. Listen,
yeah,
listen.
I'm 37 years old, and the crazy thing about it is, if you
I think it's like 33, 34.
What's up?
Because black don't crack. That's all that is.
You know what? You're right. Black don't crack. You know what? You're right.
Yeah, and if you stop stressing about dumb shit, you'll be fine.
And you meditate too.
Well, I don't medicate like you medicate.
No. Meditate.
Oh, okay. I thought you said medicate. I thought you said
that ain't
no.
You have kids, Suge?
Nah.
Oh, that's why. That's another reason.
No, but I think about that kind of stuff too, man. It's like that's the stuff I talk about when I say I look around at like my peers, like people I was riding in the cars with, because their situations are different. They got the wife thing, they got the kids thing, they went ahead and they, investments, like things of that nature. And like I said, I do well. I'm very happy with the life that I have. I go on a lot of adventures. I am happy, but I do look at other versions of myself, and it's like I sacrificed a lot of those things that I probably could have found a way to balance, because all I wanted was to just dead ahead on this. And it's like, it didn't have to be like that. Like, it totally didn't have to be like that.
But then I ask you this question, though. Let's say you went the other path.
Okay.
Yeah. And you went Shorty Douglas.
Roosevelt.
Oh, yeah.
President.
Well, go ahead.
Shorty Roosevelt. Think about it. Shorty Roosevelt got the family. You're Shorty Roosevelt. Talk to us, King.
Like, would you be happy though? Would you be happy in the other multiverse?
As Shorty Roosevelt.
Okay. Let's pull this out. Let's pull this out a little bit. All right, Doctor Strange comes to your crib, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yo, stay with me, Suge. Stay with me.
I got you.
He comes to you. He comes there, right? And he goes, "Yo, Suge, I'm gonna show you this other life. We're gonna take a trip.
Okay.
And you married, have kids.
And you Shorty Roosevelt.
But you never went to Europe.
Mm.
You never went to this spot. You never wrestled here. You wrestled, but you never wrestled.
Right.
Ooh, that's a bar right there, dog.
Now
you in Rikers right now, B. You in bars.
So dramatic.
Nah, and it's crazy whenever somebody brings up the whole multiverse thing, because it's like, okay, it's a skewed question, and this is the only reason why I say it's a skewed question, because I can never fully answer that unless I walked in that dimension's shoes.
Yeah, of course.
Because even my opinion is based off of the life that I walked, and now I'm trying to slide into another life, right? So I'd like to believe that I would be happy and having a great time. I always said that if wrestling didn't work out, I would have liked to have done like stage plays or something. I feel like I would have did something in theater or whatever. Oh yeah, I love theater.
Wait, what's your favorite musical?
Musical, you say?
Yeah.
Probably a funny thing happened on the way to the Forum or Moulin Rouge.
Ooh, okay.
Love that shit. You gotta stay with your whole like people are trying to make you feel weird about saying hell no. I love that thing with my chest, man.
Moulin, it's because I think it's still up here in New York, like on Broadway.
I like musicals. My favorite musical is Kinky Boots.
Oh, my brother.
Wait, when you went to go see it, who played? The main character, Kinky Boots, Wilkins, when you went.
I'm weak.
It was homeboy, Tay Diggs.
Oh.
And then he gave me shit because hold on, story time why I hate Tay Diggs. His bitch ass.
You know Sparrow don't like him either?
Huh?
Sparrow don't like him either.
Yeah, because he's a bitch.
You don't like Richard Lawson. You don't like Richard Lawson?
I'm gonna tell you why this nigga's a bitch.
I'm listening.
So,
Lawson.
All right, so this is going off subject, right? This is going about my musical. I love musicals. Janelle has blessed me and took me to a couple musicals too.
Oh, yo, that was the last musical we went, before the pandemic. We went to the Temptations.
Yeah, it was really good.
The musical.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. Good. But hold up, Tay Diggs is a bitch. Now I'm gonna tell you why he's a bitch. So I used to work at Equinox, right? And Tay Diggs used to come to Equinox, and I was so excited to talk to him. I was like, man, he bald, he dark skin, he like me. He could be my cousin.
Yeah.
I had seen him in Kinky Boots, and I was really excited to give him props about it. And I was like, yo, Tay Diggs, I hope you're doing well, man. Yo, I saw you in Kinky Boots. He's like, you saw Kinky Boots?
Oh, like how could you see Kinky Boots?
How dare you?
Exactly. That nigga was a hoe.
Damn.
Well, to round out favorite musicals, my favorite musical is
Rent. That's always a classic.
Oh man, I'm weak.
The Tina Turner musical was really good. Get on Your Feet about Gloria Estefan was phenomenal.
All right.
I'm still in shock at Tay Diggs, like pocket watching, like his fans when he over there talking. He said, "You can afford it."
That's exactly what he did to me.
Yo, but he gives that attitude. Yo, but you know him and Cuba Gooding Jr.
Cuban?
No, Cuba Gooding Jr. Yo, let me tell you about the one time I seen that nigga in a bar. Very interesting night. I tell you that.
Yo, Suge make us feel bad comfortable because we never had an interview like this. We ever went off the rails like this.
Let me tell you about that nigga. But no.
But
I guess we could go. Actually, let's take it back a little bit to the basics. Suge, top 5 wrestlers.
You was about to go in on Cuba and you had to pull yourself back. That's what it was.
Because I was like,
on me. If you had to get off your chest, you had to get off your chest.
Let me not get him in, trouble.
Right.
Because Cuba is sus as fuck.
But to close out what we were talking about earlier. Oh yeah, I don't forget no questions. But to close out what we were talking about just a second ago, before you move on to the next question. It's just one of them. It's just one of them situations where it's like I chose already, so I got to make the best of the path that I got. The biggest thing that I'm worried about now that I should have been worried about before, and the funny thing is I'm always figuring things out via trial and error. So that's back to me trying to drop knowledge on people, because it's like, okay, I'm having to find these things out via mistakes, or I'm waiting around in the dark, and then I'm gonna make it do what I'm gonna make it do what it do, baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna race across my way through my career. I'm gonna do this, And since you have vision, I want you to be like, okay, either learn from my mistakes, or if I do have successes, I need you to one up those successes in a major way. Okay, I don't want to be the best phrase that ever came from this business that people don't say enough is, you're supposed to leave this business better than you found it. You have to leave this better than you found it. And there's a lot of people that got a lot from it and don't do that. You have to leave it better than you found it. When I'm done, I want people to be able to say that, like, yo, Suge did this, Suge did that. I would prefer people are able to say more of what I was able to help them achieve than anything that I ever did for myself. The rest will probably come together when it's supposed to. I'm more worried right now about trying to pull up people where I can. And I'm worried about the artistry. I feel like if I'm really good at the art of what I do, everything else will come together. It's that Denzel thing where he was talking about, it's not how known you are, it's like how good you are. People talk about how good you are. So it may not necessarily get you in every room that you want to be in, but it'll keep you in work. It'll keep you so that you always have something to do.
And that's the one thing I will give you. Your work rate is good. Is good. And one of the things I think I came up to after your match in DC.
Yeah. We got to talk a little.
It was the character work that you did, and then you played such a good heel in that match. It was believable. It was, and then you put somebody else over. So you talking this shit on this pod right now, but you about that life, and we saw it in that match. I 100%. People who are listening and watching this right now, he gave us what he's talking about right now.
Look, and I got enough people right now. I got enough people right now in this business, like either that I just look at or I interact with right now. It's like, I get it. I know you got to get yours and everything like that, but it's a reciprocity business at the end of the day. Like, I promise.
Wait. Back up. I'm a college dropout. What does that mean?
Reciprocity is a derivative of the word reciprocation. Reciprocation is the ability to be able to give what you're getting in equal measures. So like this, the reason this word is important because it's a word that should come up more in relationships, whether it's everything is a relationship. I think people get caught up in the word relationship. It's like a sexual thing.
But it doesn't always have to be that. No.
Right. What we're having right now, this is a relationship. Everything that's going on, it's like, and I'm big on the art of relationship with people. It's like, I know how I want to be talked to. I know how I want to be treated. I know how I want to be. I know how I want to be minded. So I try to be mindful of all those things. Big fan of the show Hell on Wheels. And one of my favorite phrases that he has in that show is, I came to you as a gentleman first. I always try to come to you as a gentleman first about whatever it is, even if we about to have a conflict. If you can't accept me coming to you as a gentleman, or you look at it, or you look down on that, or you take that as a sign of weakness, or it is what it is, okay, we can do the asshole route all damn day. We don't have to get nothing done. And a lot of times nothing gets done because there's these grudges, there's passive aggressive shit, all this other stuff like that. You really want to make me mad, be passive aggressive. Like, I'd rather you cuss me out about why you don't like me than be on that passive aggressive, oh, everything's fine, but it's not really fine. And we got a lot of passive aggro in professional wrestling. That's why people can't make money the way that they're supposed to make money. because you just can't say what the problem is,
or they can't work their issues to make this money.
That's one of the reasons I like England. There are a lot of cats over there, especially around that time when Brit Rest was really popping. A lot of cats who couldn't stand each other, but they knew this is business, and they knew asses need to get in these seats. So if we may not go to the pub after, but if this is the match that's going to get people in the door, then that's the match that we're going to do, and we're going to set all that bullshit aside. Need more of that. Again, reciprocity. Like, I love the word. It's great. It just rolls off the tongue. Reciprocity. I love
reciprocity.
You ever thought about teaching master classes?
Mm-hmm.
Going into business for that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Listen, black man, you got a talent. You're very captivating. Like, you know how to bring an audience in, and you know how to talk to people in a way, not to insult they're intelligent, but in a way that everybody can pick up and understand. That's a gift, King. You know that.
One day.
No, it's even the way, like, you can do, like, maybe these online classes, like Suge wrestling business masterclass.
Mm-hmm.
And you make a face like this.
I see you over there. Like, you got the Tony. It's like, hello, I'm Tony Sinclair. Welcome. Like you hitting me with the Tanqueray face. Like, okay, man.
Listen, Suge, like, listen.
I'm still
you got the skills, though.
This Tay Diggs discourse.
Don't even get into it.
Yeah,
that cat is funny. That cat is funny to me, man.
He's not. You see the little, I guess, TikTok little videos he be doing.
Y'all them guys are funny to me, man.
With Omarion baby mom.
Right.
He's low key funny as fuck. Like,
wait. Tay Diggs with Omarion baby mother?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's what he be doing the videos with. Look it up. It's the one that
Wilkins ain't having it, though. You don't see him in this court.
No.
Yo, it's going down in this top corner with Wilkins, man. Every time something come out with Tay, he's like, man, fuck that nigga, man, fuck that.
He a hoe for that.
Man, but he's low key trying to teach April's her name. He trying to teach us a dance move to Janet Jackson song.
Wilkins over there, I'm trying to tell you, Wilkins over there on his Players Club right now talking about, I make my money the same way that fool make his. I ain't worried. I ain't worried about no damn thing.
He acting like Morris Chestnut and the best man. Like, I will knock this nigga out.
I'm weak.
That's exactly how he, like, remember when he was talking to him before he walked down the aisle?
Yes.
Like, I ain't even trying to hear what you saying.
Nah.
I don't care.
This nigga be, oh God, this nigga's, I can never forgive him unless I meet him in person.
His whole stance has changed. He went from his chest being forward to just like, man, I don't even be.
I don't even want to talk about it.
He switched to the money making Mitch stance. What he talking about? He said, man, when I see Tay Diggs again,
oh God,
all the people that try to play, all the people that watch Brown Sugar.
So, somebody has a question for you, Suge.
What's up?
Who are your biggest influences?
Oh shit. Okay, that's a great question. Anybody that follows my Twitter, Norman Smiley. The man.
Janelle loves Norman Smiley.
Norman Smiley.
Do you hear me? Yeah, we did an interview with almost 2 weeks ago, and it was like honoring Black History Month, blah blah blah. And he asked us, what's one person that has impacted the wrestling community? And I said, I could have said anybody. You know, like, there's plenty of people.
Like The Rock.
Okay, yeah, like Dwayne, yeah. But Norman Smiley does not get talked about enough. And I
gotta watch his stuff.
Because I, like, growing up, for me, like, I went from I transitioned. I went ECW, then I transitioned to WCW. So that WCW phase for me, when Norman Smiley ass would come out and just fucking, you would think he's a joke, but in the ring,
oh yeah,
one of the best technical wrestlers of all time.
He come out that entrance with that little hand cock. He just be like, because he was, you know. But like, I followed his career for a long time, and it's like, that's a prime example of what I talk about when I'm saying, like, you leave it better than you found it. Like, it didn't matter what they gave him in terms of how he was booked. he made it work and he elevated the material. And then when his in-ring time was done, like I made that post about Norman Smiley, how like people don't talk about the fact that like the first CMLL, like the oldest wrestling company like out there in the world in Mexico, their first heavyweight champion was a black man.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I remember seeing that.
Black Magic. It was the outpouring of love for Norman, not just from people but his peers. When I went through the quote tweets, like there was all sorts of check marks putting respect on Norman Smiley, and I just thought that was great that they were showing him the love that he deserved. I think that's great when you get it from your peers.
But you met him before?
Huh?
You met him?
Never.
I'm shocked.
He's like one of those. He's like the few that never does like meet and greets. I mean, right now he's one of like he's like a head trainer for WWE.
Yeah,
right
he's
now.
too busy making sure they're right.
So yeah, so he just, but like even like he don't. It's rare. It'd be like a rarity if you.
Do you know if I had signed a WWE deal, I'll never be late for Coach. Man, I'll be in Coach Smiley's class cut.
I'm here.
I'll be like, sure, the class don't start for 30 minutes. I know. Can I just?
I'm here.
I'm just basking in the ambiance. I'm just basking.
Yo, people don't appreciate. I'm telling y'all, people don't.
He's nice.
And then I think at the time people didn't appreciate the character development. People didn't appreciate him. Like one of those, like if they telling you to be a janitor, be the best fucking janitor there is. Like he has that mentality of like whatever was given to him, he was gonna make it the best and memorable, and that was it.
Oh yeah. Who you enjoying watching right now outside of yourself? Who do you enjoy like watching? It could be like on the independent scene or in any of the big companies.
That is funny. You said, who do I enjoy watching besides myself? I hate watching my shit, dude. Like I watch my stuff for educational purposes about what I could be doing, but beyond that, because I'm always gonna nitpick. I always find stuff that I just be like, oh my god, and I just like, it is what it is. If we're talking about people that I'm really feeling in terms of like stuff that I just like got, like I turn into a fan, like I enjoy what they do. Big fan of Minoru Suzuki. I like Suzuki for different reasons than I think other people like Suzuki. Like I think a lot of people get into the moves and he be killing people and this, that, and the third. It's like, nah, man, like that dude is the master of smoke and mirrors, and people don't even get it. Like his character work is so subtle, people don't even understand. And it's like, especially when he did his US tour, and I got to be back to see some of the stuff he was doing. Like, dude is nice with it. Like he's incredible. I enjoy his stuff. Really enjoy Naito. Like just because it's just the right mix of character and just work. I really like Tony D'Angelo, bro. I can't even front with you. Like anytime he come on screen, I gotta be like, okay, let me see what Tony about to get into. Like I really like Tony D'Angelo. I like the Creed brothers. That's like my favorite tag team out right now.
Who brothers?
The Creed brothers.
Oh, okay.
They just won the Dusty Cup.
They look like such baby. They look like such little kids, though. How old are they?
They do.
Nah, but they don't be handling nobody like no little kids. You gotta see how they handle it, man.
They rough.
I love it though. I like how they get down. What's called big fan of the Creed Bros. Gotta give a shout out to my tag partner Darius Lockhart. He's really grown a lot as a performer and like as an entity across the board. I will always watch anything that has anything to do with ACH. I think ACH, whenever you start talking about best in the world territory, I think people try to leave his name out because I guess it's taboo. But I think like your list is lacking if you start talking about best in the world and you don't include ACH. I think it's. I'm not gonna say it's a fugazi list, but like I don't think you're looking at enough stuff to qualify if you're not including ACH. Gresh has been really nice with it. Like everything that he touches has been just excellent in terms of like how he gets down, and you could tell he's really locked in. he knows his style right now. So he's really pushing people to be like, yo, I know how I get down. Either bring how you get down or you're going to get left in the dust, because he's really getting it together right now. And I'm trying to think if there's anybody else off the top of my head that really comes to mind. Right now, I would say that those are probably like my favorites to watch at the moment as far as it goes to that effect. I poke my head in dark from time to time just to see who's on there, especially like when it's indie guys getting the opportunity. You know what? I do got somebody I got to bring up too. Willow Nightingale.
Yes, talk about sis.
Willow's gotten really good, really fast.
Nah, she is, and I told the guys this, and I was talking to on the other show, I was talking about Willow too with Faye and a couple other people, and I was like, yo, when I saw her match with Violet at Hog,
yep,
it was Violet's best match. And nothing against Violet. Violet's great, but it was Violet's best match.
Sure.
It was.
Then I saw her match with Graham when we went to DC.
So good. So good.
And there's being a face in a match, a baby face in a match, and then there's being an over baby face that makes the heel so easy to be a heel.
Yeah.
And that is Willow.
She's everything like correct about doing a baby face, man. And it's like, but she's still very much herself.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
Very much herself.
And
also, if I had to put one more person on the list for their contributions that they do outside the ring and inside the ring, damn, I still got to add somebody else too. O'Shea Edwards, love what he does.
I hate him.
O'Shea.
I hate him. I hate him. I hate him.
Why are you acting like this? What did he do to you?
No, you have to think he's a heel.
He's just kayfabe.
Kayfabe.
Yeah. Come on, dog. Come on, dog. Don't break kayfabe.
Okay.
Yo, Sugar's like, nigga, what the fuck? Okay,
I thought we were inside the actor studio. I'm sorry. And then
he likes to go in and out. Don't worry about it.
The one person that I think is very interesting, and like I'm super interested in their trajectory, like going forward, because you want to talk about taking culture and putting it on their back. Billy Dixon.
Yes.
Yeah. Billy's different.
Billy Dixon. I love what Billy Dixon does. And Billy Dixon didn't get a lane, made one, and that's the thing that I'm talking about when I say you got to make it better for everybody else too, because it could have been real easy for Billy to just go ahead and make a lane and just keep it for himself. Billy made a lane and then widened the shit out so
and
that
brought everybody.
You know who Billy is?
Everybody in.
Billy is like, this is gonna sound a wild crazy, but Billy is like early Kid Cudi.
Yeah,
not bad comparison.
Yeah,
where like what he's doing right now is gonna have a massive effect in the game.
A ripple effect. Yeah,
you get it,
and that's what Cudi did in the game to like, you know what I mean? Like a lot of
emo rap.
Yeah, a lot of people did what Cudi did, and I'm seeing that with Billy, and it's he ain't the fittest, he ain't the fastest, he ain't the strongest,
gotta be,
but motherfucker know how to tell a story,
right? He make people believe, and to go on your go with your Cudi parallel. There have been people who have like nobody knew what Cudi was doing when he did it. And then people wrote it when he did it. And there's been some people that have come close. But I love the fact that Cudi could come out of hiding every so often and show you like, yo, I'm still the man at this. When I want to be the man at this style, I'm the man at this style. Like, put some respect on it. You know
Kid See Goes with Kanye was that one was good. That one was good. Dude.
Which one now?
Kid See Goes. Yeah.
Him and Kanye.
Reborn. Woo, that song is different,
the new one that he came out with was really good.
His last album, Kelly's that last album?
Yeah.
It was one of my favorite albums of that year.
Passion, Pain, and Demon's Land. That's awesome.
That's a good album. Kid Cudi last album was good.
Yeah, it's his best album since like Man on the Moon, Man on the Moon series.
If you're trying to get back to that sound, because he gets back to that sound in that album, but if it's Cudi, I'm gonna listen to it. I'm with it. Cudi made me even listen to a whole Eminem verse.
Come on,
M be very hit. Like I guess it's not that I don't like him. His fan base makes him unbearable to me. But we see this parallel in wrestling all the time too. It's like I know the cat is talented, but like y'all make it sound like he can do no wrong. And it's like, no, M had some whack ones. M had like a slump, but y'all tried to tweet y'all way through that like he didn't have a slump. Like, no, he had a whack little period for a minute. And again, Joe Budden pretty much nailed it on the head that time when he was like, yes, you are the best at rhyming words together. Yes. When he was on that Rap God kick for a little bit, that shit. Like, okay, I get people like that you rap fast and everything like that. You still ain't talking about nothing.
You didn't.
Nah,
you ain't talking about nothing since Guts Over Fear.
He hasn't been good in a while. And I'm an M fan. I'm an M fan.
There's someone over
All
here.
power to you. But thank you for being able to admit that.
But I know he hasn't been good in a while.
Yeah.
He's doing what you told him like he's been doing. He's just rhyming words. He's not telling a real story. He's not really saying anything. He's just rhyming words together.
And the crazy thing about M to me that's that a lot of people don't I think a lot of people don't admit. M is always at his best when there's an enemy, when he's got to launch an offensive. That's why I think like for as many people as much as people like to get on the whole MGK thing and everything like that, M needed that MGK thing more than MGK needed it. Then all of a sudden, M had a target now, so he was back to like being Eminem the way we know Eminem. But the thing is, I think Eminem is at his best, and he really proves it when he's having those when he makes Stand, or when he makes Guts Over Fear, or when he makes tracks like that, where it's like not that he hasn't made great stuff like how he usually does it. But when he's willing to peel back those layers and he really gets into some stuff like, man, like Guts Over Fear, I pop for that song hard because he was willing to take himself to task and admit that, yo, I have been slacking. I have been whack. I haven't been coming with it. Drugs have been messing up my ability to really tap into my flow. And I was like, man, this is so good. And then Kamikaze came out. And I was like, oh, okay, that was just a glimpse. You wanted to let us know that you could still rap, but then you stop. Okay, that's one. That's one. It'd be like a wrestler remind you that they can slow down for a minute, and then it's like, okay, I gave you this 20-minute classic. I'm gonna go back to just running through the hits now. We're gonna do the hits. Great.
Nah, he's what it is, but anybody else you fucking with right now?
Well,
no, musically.
No, musically or even wrestling. Let's both. Let's go.
Yeah, wrestling. Whatever. Let's talk everything.
Oh yeah, and of course we're gonna show love to Trisha Dora. We always gonna show love to Trisha Dora.
Of course.
Welcome back in the worst way, Big Swole. Like that weekend was very affirming, and I'm glad I got to be at both shows that she got to come back. Cause people really try to act like Swole ain't nice with it out here on these streets.
Okay.
And like,
don't get me started.
Like
you were champions, you know.
Like,
Swole
had two very different main events, like two very different Black Girl Magic main events in two states, and she was on high. She was running high every time, like high level. We not gonna act like she ain't nice with it, and we not gonna act like she weren't carrying the women's division. Her and Sheeta were carrying the women's division during a pandemic, and that's not me debating with nobody. That's just facts. You can argue with whoever the fuck you want to. You ain't gonna argue with me. So, in terms of music, Cudi always gonna be in rotation. Love me some Marlo. He's somebody I found out about, like discovering stuff or whatever it is. That new Pusha T is nice. It is.
The song is an album out.
The album ain't out yet, but that Diet Coke is.
The Diet Coke is fine. I love Drug Talk.
Like the thing with Pusha T is, and it's very rare, he's one of the few rappers that can talk about the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, but he's gonna give you a million ways to listen to it, and they all gonna be great. So
Yes.
I fuck with it. I fuck with it heavy.
Yes.
Other than that, like aside from rap, like I'm really into like strange sounding stuff. Like I like Kilo Kish. There's a group that I recently got into. Princess Goes to the Butterfly Museum. That lead singer is the main actor from Dexter. Michael C. Hall.
Really?
Princess Go to the Butterfly Museum.
Princess Goes to the Butterfly Museum. Like I love Ketamine and I love Too Cool to Care. Those are two songs from him. But that's his side project. Like he has a band aside from acting. I like Kilo Kish, Beach House. I'm big into them. Been listening to a lot of Coffee. She's good. I love her stuff. But I don't know if it's something that sounds like it was made in another planet or another dimension, I'll listen to it. Cause I'm really trying to drift off with my thoughts a lot of the time. So like, yeah.
You don't smoke, so you let the song to get you high. I see you, Daddy.
Right. And you know what? I get mad at myself because all the best songs be like drug songs, or you should be high.
Thank you. Thank you.
Like Travis Scott got this one track called SDP, like smoke some, drink some, pop song.
Yeah.
And it's a sample. The sample is from a sample is from a washed out song. Like that's the reason why I listen to a lot of techno, or I listen to like a lot of chill wave and vapor wave.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be surprised because I DJ too. Like I DJ'd on the Jericho Cruise. That's one of my passions.
Wow.
You DJ?
You DJ.
Wow.
Yeah, I love DJing. Like cutting, mixing, all that stuff. I do. I got tables. I love it. Vinyl, all that stuff. I love it. So you'd be surprised how many modern rap songs sample off of techno, or sample off of vaporwave, or sample off of chill wave. Like Beach House. Even though Beach House is like one of those, like Beach House is like one of those festival, like Rich Kid Festival, like I'm gonna take 2 EDM tabs and I'm a vibe out. Rappers been sampling the shit out of Beach House for like the longest time. I'll be recognizing them samples. The Weeknd definitely been in Beach House's bag, like plenty of time. So that said,
wait, what got you into DJing?
Brad.
Oh, that was a long time ago. Like a long time ago. I was DJing in high school.
Really?
Wow.
What?
How you think you get invited to the parties? If you're DJing at the parties, they need a DJ. You gotta go to the party. If you didn't have enough sauce to get invited to the party, you have to provide a skill to get into the party.
That's
right?
That's some real house party shit.
It is.
You just did. That's
and don't bump my table.
House party shit.
But like, nah. like I said, man. Ask who was on the Jericho Cruise how I get down. That's all I'm saying. Ask who was on the Jericho Cruise, because we had the boat.
I'm gonna ask one of five black people who was on that boat.
I won't confirm or deny, but
That's okay.
What it is.
That's okay.
Let me ask you a question.
I will say, when I saw another of melanated complexion,
you got excited.
It was definitely how you doing out here, brother?
So let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Talk to me.
How will you get more black people back into wrestling?
You got to give them something to want to watch. Like plain and simple. Like,
do you feel like, so then piggyback off of that, do you feel like, because one of the main things Attitude Era really sunk in was the drama. Do you feel like drama is missing in wrestling in terms of captivating us? We always talk about it being, cliffhanging. Do you feel like that's missing?
So I want to be very clear about one thing. The Attitude Era with a 2020 lens is not good. Yeah. It's not objectively good. It's not objectively good. And people hate to hear that. It's not objectively good. Like matches or some of the stories. It's very exciting to watch.
Oh, the
it's fun to
stories
watch.
were problematic as fuck.
Oh, absolutely. But it was still a time. Again, that was the era, and I am one of them guys where I could be like, okay, that was just things at the time. But I'm also one of those guys. Your day ain't your day no more. It's a different day. So I can respect that was the time, but this ain't your day no more. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta learn to work with it. That said, even if you look at the Attitude Era, which is crazy, it's not like we didn't have representation.
We did.
You know, we had Godfather, Ahmed Johnson, Nation of Domination, D'Lo Brown, Mark Henry, Kanye. Like there were all right. There were all sorts of things that were still under the banner where, I could point to this, I could point to this, I can see this, I can see this. And then for a while, we had that little era in WWE where it was like, if you look like a bodybuilder, had you a pair of biker tights and had some tribal tats, you was on. And everybody had the crew cut, you was on. That was happening for a little bit too. But we just started seeing a shift, period, culturally. Everybody just wanted to see more of themselves in what they were watching. I think it's the coolest thing when I sit down with my niece and I can watch her cartoon shows with her, and there's a black girl that looked like her or has hair texture that's drawn the way. I remember when everybody got up in arms about the fact that Princess Tiana's hair weren't looking right for the Wreck-It Ralph movie.
Yeah.
They tried to lay her hair out like it was like, no, Tiana got curls. She got a beach curl. Why are you fucking around trying to act like her texture is off? And they fixed it. And it looked the way it was supposed to look. And I loved it. I watched Encanto and the textures that they got. This is important. Like, it's important. When she's got that little Tiana doll and she's holding on to that for dear life, that shit is important to me. Because when I grew up, I didn't have that. Like, my heroes had to be white because there wasn't no choice.
Thank you. Thank you, son.
So, you also got to remember back in the day, cartoons only had that one black guy with a high top.
With the high top.
Right.
Yeah.
And like it was progress, but it wasn't enough progress. You know what I'm saying? And now, we've got Proud Family reboot because it was demanded. You've got all these different ways that we're seeing Asian and Latino and black and gay and all sorts of stuff. And I love it because the other thing about that in entertainment, if you're really looking at it through the lens, like when you watch Abbott Elementary, that's a black inner city school being told through the lens of a black woman who grew up in the inner city. So I know it's authentic. I knew that show was authentic the first few minutes in. It's like when you walk into a barbecue and you just know when you smell and you look around, okay, this is it. I'm ready to order. I knew Abbott Elementary was authentic the first 15 seconds when they was asking them kids what their favorite movies were. And the second kid said, my favorite movie is American Gangster, and my favorite movie and my favorite character is Frank Lucas. I said, we in there. We in there. Like this add up. And it's been adding up ever since. So, like, if you're asking me what's going to pull more black people into watching stuff, to pull everybody into watching stuff, you want to have compelling characters to begin with, no matter what color they are. If the character is compelling, it ain't going to matter what color they are. People going to watch it. Moana proved that, and Encanto proved that. Black Panther proved that. People get so weird about what it looks like. I don't care what it looks like. Is it good? I remember coming in on somebody watching an episode of Pose in season 2, and the show was so good, I had to go back and watch season 1 and then catch up.
So I did the same thing.
Right.
Wilkins would talk about it all the time, and I was like, what are they talking about? And then I watched one episode. I started the first year. I said, nah, this is it.
You know what's crazy?
It's an incredible show. And the thing about it is
to watch the show.
You could tell that they took the care in the storytelling about that culture. And it's people, you could tell they put the work in to make sure that culture was reflected with care. And even like, I don't know that, like, I didn't know about ballroom culture like that. I didn't live during that time, all that other stuff like that. But when you tell a story correctly and you got compelling characters, I will sit and watch the shit out of it, and I will root for things, and I will hate on things, and I will do that. It'll take me through the spiral of emotions.
Listen,
but that's
when Billy did that bull, when he did Paris is Bumping,
yep,
and he had the bull, he did it all. I said, "Oh, this is a whole nother.
It's authentic.
This is a creativity level that I
one of the best indie shows that ever been last year, besides ours. That's like number 2.
That's why I'm so excited for him getting Vibe off the ground, because like if it's anything like what he did with Paris is Bumping, and I know how he is, he's a creative and he's an auteur as well as an athlete when it's all said and done. But it's like if it's anything like that, that's what we need to be seeing more of in general. And what's crazy to me is a lot of people get so upset about big wrestling when they're not running the stuff that we want to see. Like AEW need to be doing more of this, and yada yada need to be doing more of that. And the funny part is a lot of the stuff that people want are happening on other channels or happening locally or on an independent level, but y'all not paying that attention. Y'all want this to be that so bad. It's that relationship shit where it's like, I can't date you. I can't date you, but this person I want to date got all the qualities that you got, but I don't want to date you. I want to date this person. And they hoping that all this stuff change up. Like you see how that could be weird signals? Because I don't believe in the friend zone. I think the friend zone is that's kind of a bullshit thing.
So your thing
why do you think it's bullshit? Why do you think it's bullshit for?
Is it more like, so are we fucking or not? Like, is it that, or is it like, are we gonna see how this goes? Like, I'm gonna need
I'll answer this. I'll answer up here and then I'll work my way over to here. I'm not a believer in the friend zone when it's all said and done, because I think people got a right to be able to choose how they want you in your life, right? That comes from that whole like nice guy mentality thing, where it's like, well, I'm a nice guy, I should be able to get this and I should be able to get that. Like, I think that's small dick energy, man. It's like you want to be nice. To me, you want to be nice and you want to be cool just because
that's your personality.
You're supposed to be nice and cool.
Yeah.
To me. Yeah. You're acting like you're supposed to be old. She's supposed to be giving something up because you being okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you being civil and you civil and you supposed to be old something? Like no. It's like either she feeling you or she not feeling you. There's no such thing as the friend zone. As a matter of fact, your energy is probably what's putting you in the quote unquote friend zone when it's all said and done anyway.
Of course, yep.
Whatever. Now, I agree more with what she's talking about over here when she's talking about are we talking or are we not? Are we talking or are we not talking? But you got to show enough guts to tell people what you want in the first place. I say this because, again, you might notice a lot of stuff I'm saying. It's a parallel of relationships, but it's a parallel to wrestling. Mm-hmm. A lot of people get frustrated about what they can't get or what doesn't happen for them or what doesn't come across or why am I not getting this opportunity or why is that not going out? You didn't ask for it. And in some cases, when you tried to approach it, you didn't approach it like a man or a woman or a they or what have you. You was showing small genitalia energy about how you approached it. Like that's real talk. Like real talk.
I love it.
If you want something and you feel like you're the person for that, you need to approach it with the confidence of what that spot entails. But here's the other half of that. If you're going to approach that, and let's say they give it to you, you need to represent. You need to come through on your half. Prime example of that. We don't already prove we can talk grown on this show, so I guess we can do this. So for the ladies that are listening, and of course the lady that we've got over here and whatnot, I always joke about with my friends that a girl is always going to have a conversation about you after you handle whatever business that you got to handle. And it's the same conversation, but it's two different tones. And depending on the tone, it's either really good or it's really bad. She gonna call her girlfriend and she gonna say, girl, let me tell you what he did last night.
Tell you about
right. But one girl, let me tell you what he did last night. It's not good. And the other girl, let me tell you what he did last night is really good. So I'm just saying.
Right. No, you're right.
So my thought process is you went, you like, man, I'm this kind of wrestler, I'm this kind of performer, I'm that kind of dude, yada yada, everything like that. Why are you not putting me in the spot? Why are you not putting me in the spot? Why am I not getting the chance to go ahead and carry the show? Sometimes the biggest, I'm not gonna say regret, but sometimes the worst thing that can happen to you is for you to say all that and the booker to be like, okay, here's the main event. Go ahead and carry the show. And you find out just how ready you're not. And then you got to have a conversation of, girl, let me tell you what he did.
Let me tell you.
Dang.
That is the best.
It happens. It happens. So it's like if you go like, I think a lot of times we get, let me turn this off because NXT went off. Please don't fall out of the chair. If I had fell out of this chair on camera and y'all had that recorded, I'd have been so damn embarrassed. Let me just put it that way.
Wow.
I would have left it.
It would have been. It would actually been really funny.
Somebody would have gifted the shit out of that, and I would never live it down. But my thing is, it's that whole realism with yourself, and I've had that conversation with myself a bunch of times too. I think about a lot of times where I had this mentality, and this was me being immature at the time, where that should have been my contract, or that should have been my spot, or that should have been my opportunity to do this and to do that. And then I look back at it, and it's like, you know what? God or whatever you choose to believe in was really protecting me from something because I wouldn't have been ready. Whether it been I didn't look right, I wouldn't have known what to do with it. I wouldn't have known how to handle that spot in the first place. In some cases, it would have been bad to take that spot. That wasn't the spot that I thought it was. I just wanted to get used so bad. I'm not thinking about how that spot would have looked. And
it's the multiverse again.
Right.
Things are supposed to happen for a reason.
I'd like to think so. And sometimes things happen for a shitty reason, dude. Like, I know everybody likes to say that things happen for a reason, for like a comfort. No, things happen for shitty reasons too. Like it works both ways. So
it's not all rainbows and
right.
What do you mean? But like, give me an example of something like of shitty things happen. Like, give me an example of that for the viewers.
Like you getting injured.
Sure, that's a great example.
Shitty thing to happen, but then down the road it could have been like, well, you know what? That was the path. Right. But in that moment, it's shitty as hell.
Absolutely.
I mean, okay, because like that's how I see it. Because I see that when bad things happen, I already program my brain like, all right, what's the bigger picture? What can I gain from this situation? So like when you said that, it's kind of look at me like, huh?
You just said it. What can I gain from this situation? An L. Sometimes your gain is an L, and that's
no. I don't see it that way because I see it as at the moment it looks like an L, but then as time progresses and me getting wisdom, like you said, dang son, that L is not even an L because it's a lesson, or I call it a W because I have knowledge of that situation where I can carry it to the next situation where I'm more smarter because I see these L's as just life lessons to get stronger, not weaker, because God won't place all these stuff in your life if you realize that you cannot handle it. Because everybody playing their own video game. So I don't like that's how I see life. Like you be positive, you put out positive things, good things will happen. And even when the bad thing happened, the bigger picture was like, dang, I learned this, I met this person, I met that person. All this happened is I didn't get sick. That's how I see it.
You know what it is?
I also don't subscribe to toxic positivity. Everybody thinks that like there's such thing as toxic positivity too, where it's like
I agree.
God, everything's fucking bad, but it's okay because obviously I gotta suffer because it's gonna turn into this or whatever. No, sometimes you just suffer, bro. It happens.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah.
It just sucks.
Yes.
I know this is strange coming from me or whatever it is, and I'm saying it with a huge smile on my face. Sometimes you just suffer, bro. Like it happens. Like now, will it make you stronger on the other side? I hope so. But sometimes you just go through some bad shit because you the one it's got to fall on somebody. You go through some bad shit to go through some bad shit. My example of going through some bad shit was coming home from the UK when I could have stayed another 2 months because at the time when Lagana was working there, I negotiated something with NWA, right?
Nice.
I was supposed to debut with NWA in 2019 of December.
Mm-hmm.
The moment I land on the plane Monday, I land in America Monday. I'm enjoying the beach in Florida. Tuesday, I get a call saying that, hey, the final talent list came out. Billy Corgan scratched your name from the list. I find out that the reason my name got scratched is because when he broke from Resistance Pro in Chicago and he had that falling out there, pretty much he holds grudges, and that's cool. I guess that works itself out or whatever it is. But like anybody that didn't leave the company when he left the company was basically on his shit list. So when he saw my name on there, he cut it. Like immediately cut it. I think about that time of NWA because that was the Ricky Starks era. That was like when NWA was like really popping.
When it first, when it was popping, when it first came back, and it was on
and you
YouTube.
saw how it popped for a lot of people around that era.
Yeah,
and I think about that atmosphere, all that other little stuff like that. I was like, man, that really could have popped off. That really made me want to quit because that was as close as I had ever got up to that point. If it weren't for the Alex Shelley match, I probably would have quit. If the Alex Shelley match had sucked or I didn't have the match, I probably would have just hung it up or I would have slowed down for a good little while. So that happens. And then fast forward, I decide to stay into it. I have the most bookings that I've ever had from Mania. And then what happens? COVID. So I lose all my bookings. I'm a full-time wrestler at the time, which is absolutely what I wanted in my life. My bills were getting paid. Everything was good. I lose all my bookings. And the tour that I was supposed to go on after Mania week, done. Because nobody can do international travel. So I look at all that. And if I'm supposed to do I guess if I'm supposed to get a learning experience about that, it made it so that I had to stick it out here in America and try to really figure myself out, which is fine. Perfectly okay with that.
That's how I see it though. I'm like, even though it's probably that it happened, like you got some kind of life lesson. Like that's how I see it. Like, yeah, it sucks so, but I got something out of it. That's how I see it.
Sure, but like that's like to me, that's like saying, okay, damn, it's like, damn, I lost 1,500, but like I guess I made 300 back, so it wasn't like a total loss or anything like that. No. As a matter of fact, I was doing more money, and I wanted more.
Yeah, that's different. That's different. Like, you need to be ignorant at that point.
Not to me, because the thing about it is, if something bad happens, I'm looking for whatever that thing is to make me whole again, or to at least put me back at even. I don't feel like the exchange of events was even. That's my feelings. So, but
I do agree with you though.
And sometimes you gotta eat that up.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times bad things happen to people, and it's one of those cases where they don't know how to bounce back from it, or they don't know how to accept that. Sometimes you just gotta accept it, and you gotta kind of move forward.
I like the way you put it though. Like you put it in more of a sense. So I see what you mean though, but like. You just gotta accept that it happens and just move the fuck on.
But really, acceptance is a part of, like it. You know how you ever hear about like the 5 stages of grieving.
Okay.
In terms of grieving, people always associate it with just death. But grieving could be a loss of an opportunity. It could be a loss of a match. It could be a loss of whatever it is. And you go through those stages, and at that end of accepting it, that's how you could kind of move on from it. And
dang, Janelle, that was deep. I didn't see it that way. Thank you.
Time. Oh, you're welcome.
I've
But
had
yeah,
to learn
I
to
always
jump.
see it.
I've had to learn to jump to acceptance real quick with a lot of stuff.
Because sometimes you can't waste time lingering in your sorrows about it, especially in business. Like you can't, like, once that 1,500 gone is gone. Now you gotta figure out how to wait to either get it back or get more than that.
The most powerful phrase just dealing with business, and it's such a simple phrase. It is what it is.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
He says
I say that shit at work
all the time.
But it just makes sense.
No, I tell them all the time, because we've had situations where shit just gone left.
Out of nowhere.
And
like he went to sleep one day, the next day we wake up like, what?
Yeah. And then I tell them all the time, I was like, it is what it is, because you can't change it.
Right. Thank you. That's what I'm getting at. Once it's out there in the world, it's out there in the world. It's like, how are you dealing with it?
Like you can, don't get me wrong. I'm big on, you can feel a certain type of way about something.
Sure. I agree with you. Yeah.
You can be emotional about something. You can be mad at, because we're entitled to feel an emotion.
Yes.
I agree.
At the end of the day, you can't change it.
Nope.
And it is what it is.
So that's where I'm at. So what are we gonna do about it? And a lot of the times I got caught up in the situation, not thinking about, okay, well, we still have to do something about it. So what are we gonna do about it? So that's what I'm saying. Like when it comes to relationships with stuff, even with stuff I don't like, okay, it's happened. What am I gonna do about it? Because my options are usually, I gotta flip this. We'll soldier ahead, or you walk away from it. And I'm fortunate enough
and you
that
start
I'm in
over.
a situation where I get to pick and choose what I want to do now. Kind of.
That's beautiful.
And I messed up in a major way, thinking I had to take everything that came across my path. It ain't always got to be like that, because everything don't necessarily hit the same. You know,
and not everything is really meant for you at the end of the day.
Right.
And I honestly, like, some of the biggest life lessons I think I've learned is actually, in dealing with wrestling and in dealing with particular people within the industry, where it comes down to, like, listen, like, okay, this has happened. We got to move on, and now we got to upgrade it. Now we got to go one bigger than that, because we can't look back on those type of things.
Absolutely.
Yo, we talk.
Wow. Yeah.
But
dang, it's up there with the Sticker Ray. I mean, the Steve Ray episode.
So, Suge, what's next for you? What matches you think you would, if you had, a particular booker in front of you, and that could maybe possibly do something, what's a match you would love to have? Who would you love to wrestle this year?
Yeah.
I'm so weird about that kind of stuff, because I guess everybody is so big on that whole Cody Rhodes dream match thing, and they're checking boxes and everything like that.
Wait, you and Cody? That's the
no. I'm saying,
I'm about to say.
He said Cody Rhodes dream match. Remember when Cody left?
If I was across from him, I'm sure we can make some stuff pop off. But like,
listen, if Cody was smart, then what he should have did was really start his own shit. And not jump on the bandwagon with them niggas. That's the difference.
No. Okay, we'll talk about it on this podcast.
I think he's gonna be okay. Let me just put it that way. He ain't hurting. He's gonna be all right.
He ain't. You see that house?
Yeah.
He gonna be all right.
You think them niggas is hurt?
No. He gonna be all right. He got options. That said, I guess I'm crazy like that, because like everybody's so busy. Like I see that on Twitter all the time. Everybody's atting who they want to wrestle, and then half the list are usually people atting people that are like, they've got clout. You know what I'm saying? So they want the match more for the clout of the match more than
instead of the actual match.
Right. And I'm an artistry type dude. Like you'll notice when I post stuff, even when I talk about bookings, I'm like, yo, send me interesting stuff, please. Like I want to do interesting things with interesting opponents. Like if you want to go out and you want to go through the motions, that's you. That ain't really how I want to get down. You know what I'm saying? Like I needed to hit different for this point in my career, and you could call that a bit snobbish. it's like, nah, like it's not snobbish. It's I know what I want out of my career right now, you know. I'm excited about the fact that I'll be going back to England. I'll be back over there on the 22nd.
Oh, nice.
The 22nd. It's just time. It's just finally time. And they already announced me for North in Newcastle, but I got like a surprise or two still waiting to be announced. So I think when it gets announced, everybody.
So question: are you familiar with Darius Carter?
Darius Cartier, the party starter year. Yes, I'm very, very familiar with Darius Carter.
I think that y'all two will have a good match.
You know, we've worked twice already.
I gotta watch that. Thank you.
Two of them were in Beyond, and one of them was at BCW. As far as go, Darius is very underrated, and I'll say this too about Darius Carter. It's funny how the game works, right? Like a guy like Darius Carter can carry himself the way that he carries himself and talk the way that he talks, and really just dives into being a heel, right? And everybody just loves to shit on him, right? But then you see his contemporaries and his peers do the exact same stuff. And it's just, oh my God, this is brilliant. This is somebody that really knows what it's like to be a heel.
MJF.
They take his whole gimmick and go on AEW. Make
MJF.
Look,
MJF on TV.
Y'all can parallel what y'all want to parallel because it is what it is. I'm just saying.
No.
And it's not just that parallel that's come up. There's others on the indies things that.
I've seen them. Yeah,
we have. We've seen them.
We've seen them. But it is what it is, right?
I want to believe, and I say this often too. I want to believe in the best of people that it ain't the reasons that I think they're the reasons, but they're not giving me much to work with.
You said a lot without saying a lot. Okay. So
I say that so much about just situations.
You are really are like a theater type of person because the way you use your words, I'll repeat. Story.
I'll repeat. I want to believe it's not the reason that I believe it is, and I want to believe in people, but they're not giving me a lot to work with.
We understand. We understand.
Yeah, we understand. We vibrate higher. Yeah. So, all right. On that note.
Any last questions or any
Nah, this was a great conversation. I wish I had some juice, but this was a great conversation.
Oh, and I just wanted to tell y'all, I didn't want that to be just a thing that we had at Grapple. At Grapple. I seriously appreciate y'all like being excited to even have me on the show. I meant it 1,000,000%, and I just want it here on live copy so people know what I'm talking about. I'm fortunate that there's a lot of podcasts now that carry a lot of weight in when it comes to like our culture and wrestling and things of that nature. And we just got different outlets for our culture when it comes to Black wrestling, right? But like Jobbertears was always one of those podcasts that was like talking about the culture before it was cool to talk about the culture, right? And I told y'all about that because like even cats that were in the locker room knew what was happening before y'all popped off a little bit more. So I look at y'all as kind of like trendsetters and pioneers about what y'all were talking about these things before it became like, oh man, we gotta catch up the Jobbertears podcast. I think y'all are a prime example of sometimes you have to stick to your guns about stuff because sometimes you will dig your feet in on something and it's not what's popping. It's not what people want to hear. Sure. You'll have people in your ear saying like, yo, this ain't what y'all need to be talking about. If y'all want to get on, y'all need to be talking about this. Y'all need to be talking about that. This is rubbing people the wrong way. And a lot of times you got to outlast. I mean, we just saw a perfect example on Netflix. Lady listened to All Falls Down and didn't feel that. Walk Kanye out the door on a A finished version of all. This weren't like a demo version. A finished version of All Falls Down, and didn't feel that.
Bro, you don't understand. I was so angry watching that because we felt that before. Mm-hmm. And I was almost in tears because I felt what he felt. When you're, hey, this is good. Why aren't you loving this? This is quality. And the chick just ignored him. But go ahead.
Because we live kind of like how we live society-wise and everything like that, we're kind of in a thing which I hate, but I also understand. You are not to be loved until somebody validates that it's okay to love you.
Like, you always say that.
Right. It's like once there's enough retweets behind why people should pay attention to you, then everybody pays attention to you. Mm-hmm. And I think that's crazy because you got to follow your own heart about some stuff sometimes. And it's like, I appreciate the fact that even when people weren't giving it to y'all the way that y'all deserved it, y'all still held the course, and then y'all got what y'all were supposed to get on it. I believe in that every day. I wouldn't be here right now if I didn't believe in the possibility of, I don't wrestle the way that y'all wrestle. I don't wear the stuff that y'all would wear. I don't take the route that y'all take. I don't promo the way that y'all promo. I don't do this. I think about things differently or whatever it is. But eventually it's going to find its reason to hit with somebody.
Yeah.
And for all I know, I could be wrong. I could be completely incorrect. But I have to walk this thing all the way to at least find that out. Because it scares me. Like, I know y'all have seen that meme before with the person that's doing the diamond mining, the two people that are doing diamond mining, and the one dude quits like when he was one strike away from the diamond, and the other guy just keeps going. I don't want to be one strike away. Like, I always feel like the moment I stop, I'm gonna be that one strike away, and I hit the gold mine.
Same feeling.
I appreciate the fact that y'all didn't stop, because the culture had to shift for people to understand what the hell y'all were doing. And now y'all are finally getting what y'all are supposed to get off of it. And that's good. And you would have never saw that if you didn't stick around for it. So y'all should be proud of yourselves that you did that. And I appreciate y'all because y'all uplifted the culture when it was a rough time to uplift the culture.
Baby.
Because you think people ain't trying to hear it now. They really were not trying to hear it then.
They definitely wasn't. Because listen, we had got, almost crucified because I always end the show off of saying Black excellence. And just off of that, people were like, no, what do you mean? Like,
why gotta be Black excellence?
Yeah, why can't it be all excellence? Yeah, exactly. Which got to a point.
Which is crazy, because if you think about it culturally in wrestling, Lucha Libre has been Lucha Libre and authentically Mexican for the longest time. And you will never hear white fans complain about how Lucha Libre is done or how it needs to be done this way, or when they talking about La Raza this and all this other stuff, they let them cook. And they respect their traditions and the way that they do things when they go to a Lucha show, right? When New Japan puts on a show, Noah puts on a show. Even when New Japan comes to America to do a show, they respect the New Japan way of doing things. They quiet the hell down while stuff is going on and then get loud when the spot comes up. They let things be traditionally Japanese. They're not asking for anything to be curved or switched or moved around. They respect and they love and they admire that culture, right? Mm-hmm. And it's been Japanese since it's been Japanese. Nothing has changed. Hell, you even want to start talking about subcultures within American wrestling, deathmatch wrestling, all that stuff like that. People respect the cultures and the lore and the things that go along with that, right? The moment that Black people start getting a little too proud about where they come from or what they got going on or trying to fly the flag for what they got going on, then everybody's got to calm the hell down. This is all of our excellence, not just this particular excellence. Mm-hmm. Right? So I've always noticed that, and I've always peeped that, and I've always looked at that and everything like that. It's like, so what you're telling me is you can let Japanese cook, you can let Mexicans cook, you let Canadians cook, and they're upstairs, they're the upstairs neighbors. You let them cook. You can let everything else cook culturally. The moment we just want to kind of cook a little bit for ourselves in house, mind you, you got to start throwing rules on us about how we doing the recipe. And I just never had love for that.
The chicken has too much flavor. What the fuck? But
wow,
in all jokes aside, though,
thank you.
Appreciate you.
Wow.
The words that you said that day and for you saying it now, because it's never been about validation for us. It's never been about, people patting us on our back saying good job. Like, no, we just wanted to change the landscape because we love the business.
Wrestling,
because we grew up those kids that you couldn't talk about wrestling. You couldn't say, I love this. I watched Raw last night. You couldn't proudly say that. Well. And now we're in a time where we can scream that on the top of our lungs and be unapologetic about it. And that's really the premise of, the podcast when we first started. It was just us being unapologetically ourselves and continue that. and even though like we fuss, we fight with each other, but it's always just been us. And to have people be a part of that journey, like you are now a part of the family, you're a part of that journey. That's really what it boils down to. When all this is said and done, it's about, can we all sit at this dinner table and key, and it don't gotta even be about wrestling. It don't even gotta be about what's being done in the ring. Let's talk about each other and making sure that we're good as people, so that we can, when this is all said and done, we still got each other.
There we go. And y'all have come this far. And that's where I'm at right now with things. It's like I done looked at a few matches. It's like, okay, I like, if I'm really serious about trying to really be my best version of myself, like there's all sorts of stuff I got to clean up with, be it gear, physical shape, things of that nature. I'm always on physical shape because I'm up and down and weight a lot sometimes just because emotionally, things of that nature. But that's something I've always been battling. That said,
you ever need some help with that?
I think we're there, but I will definitely take any suggestions I can get. I'll tell you this. I've come this far and you've come this far. So we just have further still to go. Mm-hmm. So fortunately we've made it this far. We just have to go a little further still.
Now we can't stop.
This is the pit stop. So now we can't stop. We too deep. Yeah. But Suge, please let the viewers and listeners know where to find you. And if you have any upcoming shows, let the viewers and listeners know.
Wow. Oh shit. We about to do the promo drop. Okay. At Twitter, at twitter.com, at Sugar Dunkerton. Instagram at Sugar Dunkerton, FASHO. That's pronounced for show. Shout out Omar for getting me addicted to saying that at a very, very early age. I know some people have a love-hate relationship with the place right now. ProWrestlingTees.com/Sugar Dunkerton. If you want to get a shirt, cool. If you don't want to get a shirt, cool. Like
it is what it is.
I ain't forcing nobody to do nothing out of their comfort zone, but it's there if you're trying to go ahead and get it. I've got Paradigm Pro Wrestling coming up Friday. It's gonna be me versus John Davis. Again, I'll be coming. Yeah, I'm gonna get tossed around. Like March the 18th, I'll return to Paradigm again. This time on their other brand. Which is the UWFI rules. I'll be doing a British rules match, I guess, as a warm-up for the UK tour against Sid Von England. I've got other appearances coming up. I expect to be in Texas, but things could change.
Let us know, than that,
Yeah, y'all will definitely know. Yeah, we got to get up because I might have to piggyback y'all on that Wale Mania. Y'all be sitting down there talking about, oh yeah, you could just mention that. Again, mixtape stat, it don't work like that. I can't just drop my name everywhere. It's like, they should. Like, and like, I'll fuck around and say Pineapple Peter. Oh shit, Pineapple Peter.
You probably right on that.
Yeah, he's right.
But a part of me that hurt. Like Pineapple Peter and still can't get it. Like, oh, okay.
Pineapple
Peter my shit.
You gotta have the alter ego ready so you can pull
up
that moment.
Look, man. Pineapple Pete with his 09 can get more done than Suge D with all this. Look, man. As an artist, that twins with you a little bit. That's like when you a rapper and that one single. Everybody remember you for that one single. I got all these other drops too, but because I went on a major label, you ain't showing me. You ain't showing me. But okay,
you're right. You're right.
Oh my God. I'm trying to think of anything else. I guess the only other thing that I could plug is there's wrestling of all sorts out there right now. We were talking about that earlier. So I'll never be one to tell you don't talk about don't talk about what you want. Don't talk about what you wish you were seeing more of wrestling. But at the same time, you owe it to yourself to try to look to see what else is out there.
Yeah,
we got black wrestling, we got gay wrestling, we got Latino wrestling, we got Japanese wrestling. Yeah. If there's a wrestling, it's out there for you, and you need to be supporting that. That's just flat out. There's something out there content wise for you. You need to be supporting that so it turns into the next thing that's out there instead of trying to force people to become that thing. Yeah. They've shown you what they want to do off the rip. Why don't you grow something into something that it needs to turn into, and even more options will exist.
Nah, you're right.
So there we go.
That's about growth and multiply. But thank you, Suge, for finally entering the Jobbertears podcast family. I mean, you've been a blessing. We appreciate all the words and the wisdom. And
you find the Jobberverse.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happens once you do the show. Then that's your rite of passage.
Yeah.
And I would like to end my stuff with I was gonna quote a Tay Diggs quote from Brown Sugar, but I'm not gonna do that. I ain't trying to set Wilkins off. So I'm gonna quote the best rhyme that came off of that movie. If y'all feeling this and y'all know the words, let me know. New Year's Eve, Kelby D in the venue. Pop the ring. Got marriage on my menu. Marriage on my menu,
marriage on my menu.
Woo!
Woo! What a bar.
Boris Kojo. Woo!
He was hot shit when he said that, but that's a whole different. Okay. Because now I'm visualizing it, and he thought he was hot shit when he said that.
Yeah, the low stance. New Year's Eve, Kelby D in the venue. Yo! Like a rap.
Now I'm going to go and try to maybe find Brown Sugar, but thank you, Suge D, for joining us on this lovely episode of the JTP Lounge. We do truly appreciate you joining us. We'll be back on Thursday.
Yeah.
Live, recapping, predicting Revolution, AEW, getting ready for Mania season, all of the above. So make sure to tune in. Make sure to always follow us at the Jobbertears Podcast on all social media platforms. As always, I'm Janelle from HR, here with Sir Wilkins and Mrblacc, and of course, our lovely guest, Suge D. #Black Excellence, #We Are Out.
Man,